The lights dimmed, the velvet curtains quivered, and a sudden hush fell over the grand hall, as if the universe itself demanded silence. A low hum of whispers flickered through the air, cameras poised, hearts racing, breaths shallow. No one knew what was coming, only that something extraordinary was about to unfold. Then, with a slow, deliberate motion, Yulong stepped onto the stage, his presence as commanding as ever, his gaze sharp, his suit gleaming under the golden glow of the chandeliers. The tension thickened. Journalists clutched their notepads tighter, fans gripped their seats as if holding on for dear life. At his side appeared young Mei Mei, her gown flowing like liquid starlight, her expression calm yet unreadable, and in her arms, something hidden beneath folds of delicate silk. The audience gasped but dared not speak, as if words might shatter the fragile, electric anticipation hanging in the air. Mei Mei paused at the center of the stage, her grip tender yet protective, and with one last glance at Yulong, who gave a subtle nod, she slowly peeled back the silk. For a heartbeat, time froze. The hall erupted into cries, gasps, and tears as the tiny face of their child was revealed for the first time. The world's most glamorous couple, known for their opulence, their luxury, their storybook romance, had unveiled their greatest secret yet, a baby born into love, power, and history. The child's eyes fluttered open, catching the golden light in a way that seemed almost otherworldly, and those present swore the newborn bore the unmistakable gaze of Yulong, sharp yet tender, as though destiny itself had been carved into the tiny soul. Mei Mei's smile, soft and angelic, broke through the tension, and the cameras clicked in rapid fire, desperate to capture every fraction of the moment. Fans wept openly, some clasping hands together as if witnessing a miracle, others whispering that this was no ordinary birth, but the beginning of a new era. Yulong, usually so stoic and unreadable, reached out with steady hands and caressed the child's head, his eyes glistening with uncharacteristic vulnerability. For the first time, the man known for his steel-like composure allowed the world to see a tear slip down his cheek, and that single drop spoke louder than any speech he could give. As the flashes lit up the hall like lightning, whispers turned into screams, and screams into chants of adoration. Hashtags began flooding social media before the event had even concluded, storming through every platform at once. Hashtag Yulong Baby Reveal, hashtag Mei Mei Miracle, hashtag Crown Couple Heir. Screens across Asia lit up with breaking news banners, and within minutes, the moment was being replayed in households, coffee shops, and even across billboard screens in major cities. The baby, barely minutes into public life, had already become the most talked-about figure in the entertainment world. But the surprises were far from over. In a move no one had predicted, Yulong reached into the inside pocket of his jacket and produced a small velvet box. Gasps once again rippled through the crowd as he opened it to reveal not jewelry for Mei Mei, not a gesture for the audience, but a tiny bracelet glimmering in the golden light. Crafted from the purest jade intertwined with threads of gold, it bore an engraving so delicate that only those nearest could read it, the baby's name. With reverence, Yulong slipped the bracelet around the child's wrist, bowing his head as he whispered words only barely caught by the microphones. From this moment forward, my world belongs to you both. The audience erupted in applause so thunderous it rattled the chandeliers, and fans online exploded with comments declaring this the most romantic fatherhood reveal in history. Clips of the bracelet scene circulated within minutes, dubbed in every language, analyzed for hidden meanings, praised as a gesture that redefined fatherhood in celebrity culture. Some called it a dynasty being born before their eyes, others likened it to the unveiling of royalty, while many simply sobbed, declaring they had never felt so moved by a celebrity moment. Young Mei Mei, luminous beyond imagination, stood beside her husband with the poise of a queen. She radiated a glow that no diamond or designer gown could create, the glow of motherhood, a quiet pride that enveloped her like light itself. She pressed her cheek against the baby's head and closed her eyes for a moment, as though sealing herself into a memory she never wanted to forget. Fans watching the live stream around the world captured screenshots of that exact moment, dubbing it the picture of perfection, a symbol of maternal grace that would be remembered for generations. The night continued like a dream unraveling in real time. After the reveal, the couple allowed cameras a fleeting glimpse into the nursery prepared for their child, a sanctuary more luxurious than anyone could have imagined. Painted walls adorned with handcrafted celestial motifs, a chandelier designed with cascading crystals in the shape of swans, and a cradle carved from rare wood inlaid with mother-of-pearl. The silk blanket the baby was wrapped in had already been revealed to be a custom creation from one of Italy's most renowned designers, embroidered with threads of pure gold and pearls so small they shimmered like stardust. It wasn't just a nursery. It was a palace for an heir, and the world marveled at the sheer thought and artistry poured into creating such a space. Yet beneath the grandeur, insiders whispered of moments that painted a softer picture. Yulong, despite his schedule and fame, was said to have spent countless sleepless nights preparing himself for fatherhood, reading parenting books late into the night, practicing lullabies in secret, even personally sketching designs for parts of the nursery. Mei Mei, equally dedicated, turned down major film roles and projects in the months leading to the birth, focusing all her energy on ensuring the health and happiness of their child. These unseen sacrifices, whispered by close friends, added layers of depth to the story, proving that behind the flashbulbs and luxury was a love rooted in devotion and sacrifice. Global media erupted in a frenzy. News anchors across continents referred to the reveal as the moment that transcended borders. Fashion magazines analyzed Mei Mei's gown in microscopic detail, while parenting outlets praised the couple for presenting parenthood with both grandeur and authenticity. Luxury brands scrambled to associate themselves with the event, sending public congratulations and gifts so extravagant that even fans joked the child would never have to buy a single item in their life. Within 24 hours, the baby reveal video had shattered records, becoming the most-watched celebrity reveal clip of the decade, surpassing weddings, concerts, and even royal announcements. But perhaps the most astonishing part was the fans themselves. Online communities began composing songs, creating art, and writing poetry inspired by the reveal. Some compared the child to a star born from love's fire. Others wrote entire fictionalized stories imagining the child's future, blending reality with fantasy. Fan gatherings sprouted overnight, with screenings of the reveal replayed like a film premiere, proving once again that Yulong and Mei Mei were not just celebrities, they were cultural icons, symbols of a modern fairy tale. Yet, as the frenzy grew, so did the questions. Would the couple raise their child in the spotlight, allowing the world to watch their parenting journey unfold? Or would they retreat into privacy, making each rare glimpse even more precious? Speculation soared, but Yulong and Mei Mei remained calm, their focus clearly on the new life they cradled between them. Their silence on the matter only fueled more curiosity, adding suspense to an already dramatic tale. As the night came to a close, Yulong took Mei Mei's hand, and together they walked off the stage, their child nestled safely between them. The cameras continued flashing, but the moment had already transcended photography. It had entered legend. Fans left the hall in tears, social media timelines overflowed with love, and the world collectively agreed they had just witnessed a storybook chapter come alive. The reveal of Yulong and Yang Mei Mei's baby was not simply a family announcement. It was a phenomenon, a spectacle, a living fairy tale that had shaken the world with its beauty. Their love, already known for its luxury and surprises, had now taken its most profound step forward, turning into a legacy. And for fans, it was more than news. It was a promise that the saga of Yulong and Mei Mei was far from over. The mansion, the ring, the romance, those were only preludes. This baby was the beginning of a new era. And as the curtains closed, one truth rang louder than the applause, louder than the hashtags, louder than the breaking news. When Yulong and Yang Mei Mei write their love story, the world doesn't just watch, it lives it with them. The hall seemed to shiver under the weight of anticipation, every breath held captive as though the entire universe leaned closer to witness the revelation. The velvet curtains swayed lightly, touched by a breeze that wasn't there, while golden chandeliers dripped light like molten stars upon the couple who stood center stage. Yulong's hand was steady, gripping the microphone with a calm that betrayed none of the storm brewing in his chest, but the slight tremor in his voice when he first spoke was enough to make fans gasp. His words were simple, almost whispered, yet carried to every corner of the room. "Tonight, we give you our heart." The audience leaned forward, knuckles white against their seats. Even the reporters, trained to remain detached, found themselves caught in the gravity of the moment, their pens pausing mid-sentence, as if afraid of missing a single detail. Beside him, young Mei Mei shifted gracefully, her gown whispering against the polished floor, shimmering like liquid moonlight. In her arms, the mysterious silk bundle seemed to pulse with an energy of its own, a promise hidden just beneath the folds. A single spotlight descended, narrowing to frame Mei Mei and the fragile treasure she carried. Gasps rippled through the crowd, and for a moment, the silence was so absolute that the faint sound of the baby's breathing could almost be heard. Mei Mei raised her gaze, locking eyes with Yulong. The intensity of his stare, softened by love and yet sharpened by pride, was enough to still the chaos of 1,000 cameras. He gave the smallest of nods. Her hands, delicate yet unshakable, began to peel back the silk, slow enough to stretch seconds into eternities. The crowd's collective inhale echoed like a wave breaking against cliffs, and then it happened. The silk parted. The child's face emerged, bathed in the golden glow of chandeliers and spotlights, eyes half-closed in innocent wonder, lips pursed into the faintest smile, as though aware of the audience, waiting to be undone. The eruption was immediate. Screams, sobs, gasps, a tidal wave of emotion crashing across the hall. Reporters forgot themselves, shouting questions through tears. Fans pressed hands against their mouths, trembling as though the mere sight of the child had stolen the strength from their bodies. Social media notifications exploded. The reveal streamed live to millions who themselves broke into tears behind screens. The child, barely minutes into fame, had already achieved what no film, no award show, no spectacle had ever managed. Absolute silence followed by deafening awe. Yulong stepped closer, his shadow mingling with Mei Mei's glow, and placed his hand upon the child's head with such reverence it silenced the crowd once more. For years, he had been the symbol of power, dominance, control, but here, before his fans, he was something else entirely. Vulnerable. Human. A man undone by love, so pure it defied description. His lips trembled, and then the unthinkable happened. A tear slipped free. One single tear, catching the light as it traced his cheek, glittering like a diamond before falling. The crowd erupted again, but this time not with shouts, with sobs. Some fell to their knees. Others clasped hands as though in prayer, and more than a few whispered that this was not just a celebrity reveal but a blessing, a divine moment delivered to the world. Screenshots of that tear spread across social platforms instantly, frozen in time, captioned with phrases like, "The day a king cried," and "When love broke the unbreakable." Mei Mei, glowing brighter than any jewel she had ever worn, tilted her head to gaze at her child. The tenderness in her eyes was so raw, so unguarded, that fans swore it pierced their souls. She pressed her cheek lightly against the baby's tiny head, closing her eyes, and for that fleeting moment the world ceased to exist. It was just her child, and the eternity of love she carried in her heart. Photographers clicked furiously, knowing they were capturing history, but none of them could capture the truth of the moment, for no lens was powerful enough to seize the magnitude of a mother's love. Yulong, moved beyond words, shifted slightly and addressed the audience again. His voice was firm this time, carrying over the ocean of emotions. "This is not just our child. This is our future, our legacy, and our greatest gift. Tonight, we do not share wealth, fame, or power. Tonight, we share love." The crowd rose to their feet, an involuntary standing ovation, the applause so loud it shook the very walls of the hall. Even the chandeliers seemed to tremble as if bowing to the moment. Fans who had followed their love story from the beginning wept openly, remembering every twist and turn. The shocking romance, the glittering wedding ring, the mansion reveal, and now, the child. Each chapter had built toward this crescendo, and the crescendo had been worth every second. One journalist, caught on a hot mic, whispered words that would later go viral. "I've reported on world leaders, I've covered wars and coronations, but I've never seen anything like this." The cameras zoomed in once more, capturing the baby's tiny hand as it broke free of the silk and curled instinctively around Yulong's finger. The hall went silent again. It was a scene no scriptwriter could have crafted, no director could have staged, reality at its most poetic. The mighty Yulong, the man of unshakable control, froze as his child gripped him, and for the first time he smiled, not the polished smile for cameras, but the raw, unfiltered smile of a father overwhelmed. The audience cried again, the moment replayed instantly across screens worldwide, hashtags multiplying by the second. Fan forums exploded with commentary, some declaring they had witnessed the birth of a dynasty, others saying they felt as though they had been invited into the most sacred part of the couple's life. A few simply typed, over and over, "This is love. This is love. This is love." And so the scene stretched on, an endless loop of tears, cheers, and awe. The reveal was no longer just an event. It had become a memory etched into millions of hearts, a shared experience that blurred the line between celebrity and mythology. Yulong and Mei Mei had not just shown their baby. They had shown the world a piece of themselves, a piece so intimate and so powerful that nothing would ever be the same again.